Hi, I'm Eddie Obeng, and this is How. Daily, I bring you something different. Today, I've got a special treat for you. It's not from me directly. It's inspired by a chap called Robert Cialdini, and it basically is how to get anyone to do anything. I'll explain to you how New World Persuasion works, but this is a particular tool which I put together by trying to summarize Robert's work. So let's have a look. Let's jump onto Cube and see what we can find. So welcome to Cube, where, as you know, the sun is always shining. We can go out into the patio, but we have no time. We have a quick bit to put to teach. So let's go and have a look. So this is Quentin's on Cube. It's our cafe where I meet people for the first time. We have a meal. We sit at the table, and they get to experience a little bit of what Cube's like, including some of the humor. For example, that's me. And there's always, of course, an elephant in the room. So let's go and have a look at Compell6. So let's start with this chap here. This is Spock. Leonard Nimoy famously played him, the logical, rational person who can work anything out. So I trained as an engineer. Most of my friends are sort of sensible, logical people. They're very rational. That's the type of person I used to spend a lot of time with. Then I started teaching. I got involved with projects. I started understanding human beings don't work like machines. And one day at a conference, I met this chap called Dan Ariely. Dan Ariely is a professor who looks at behavior. His famous book is something like Predictably Irrational. And he tells this story about how he's got a group of doctors or dentists, and they say to them, look, there's this patient, there are two treatments we can do, A or B, which one should we do? And of course, they choose the cheaper and easier one, which has a good efficacy, okay? And then he says, okay, now there are three treatments we can do, the two with the easy, cheap ones with the efficacy, or we can do this other complicated one. And for some reason, all the doctors and dentists said, choose the complicated one. Basically, what he's explaining is human beings don't always use rationality. When you give them more than two choices, their brains just disintegrate, okay? And that was brought home to me by a chap called Scott Adams. And Scott Adams, if you know his work, he basically explains that people only act rationally less than 10% of the time when the problem is really obvious. So, for example, if you've got a piece of plastic or you've got a potato and you're trying to decide which one to eat, you probably eat the potato. But everything else, it's just completely irrational. And his book, Win Bigly, well worth reading, explains what happened to me whilst I watched the rise of President Donald Trump. So I studied Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, at college on my MBA. So I knew about him, but I'd not been paying attention. All of a sudden, all my friends kept telling me there was this mad, horrible, racist, stupid person who was going to take over America. And I went, what's he called? He said Donald Trump. I went, oh, it can't be the same guy, because we studied The Art of the Deal. It's a really good book. Okay, so I wasn't paying any attention. And I noticed people were getting more and more worked up. I still wasn't paying any attention. And then he got elected. And all of a sudden, everyone said, he's a crazy man. He's really stupid. He doesn't even know how to shake hands with people. When he shakes hands with people, he pulls their hands. And so finally, I started paying attention. I went, oh, it's not Donald Trump. It is the same guy. Why are they all acting as if he's completely mad? And it was something called TDS, which I can explain to do with cognitive dissonance. Another talk somewhere else. Trump derangement syndrome, cognitive dissonance. So I kept wondering, why is he pulling people's hands? This guy, I know he's a salesman. He's up to something. Everyone else thought he was stupid. I thought he was up to something. So I discovered that actually what he was up to was something called a hand pull induction. It's a hypnotic technique. When you greet somebody and you do something called a pattern interrupt, you can make them auto-suggestive. So you go, we're going to do great business. And they go along with it. And this is Rory Z, the guy who taught me hypnosis. And so I went and did it. So why am I telling you all this? Because Robert Cialdini's work basically taps into the fact that human beings are totally not rational. This is my persuasion map, okay? And what I've tried to do in this persuasion map is to try and highlight the things which make people act out of their rationality. So facts and logic, poor Mr. Spock, they're the least persuasive. You trying to convince somebody just by using facts and logic. Tends not to work. Fear, good stuff. Big fear, better. Oh, you're going to die. You've got to do this. Your business is going to explode. The market's out. They'll run like crazy. So that's much more effective. Conceptual stuff. Hey, we're thinking about how we might use AI within the context of... No, it doesn't work, okay? Stuff about you. If you had an AI assistant, it would make you really happy. Concrete stuff. They like that. External stuff. Somebody else doing it, don't like it. Drive it yourself. It's about you and your identity and who you are. They love that. So moral outrage on the left, feeling of superiority, those are unethical things, but you can use them to drive people's behavior. So those are the main accents. Just as an example, if you start looking at it, and when we do other pets, you'll see that some of the pets are specifically designed in order to tackle some of these different things. Like, for example, if you are not able to do facts and logic, but instead you can do things like storytelling or rhyming and stuff like that, there are pets which will help you be more persuasive. This is the overall final persuasion map, which I put together. It just gives you all the things which are going on. So Cialdini's work is hidden in lots of these different bits around influencing people, rhyming, trying to make sure that they're happy, etc., etc. And he worked on this book, which is a bestseller. If you haven't read it, read it. He has another book called Persuasion, which explains how you can be persuaded to do something well in advance of you doing it and you don't even notice. Brilliant stuff. Anyway, real genius. So off this, I needed to teach how to integrate this into the persuasion universe, which I had created. So I created Compell6. So let me take you through it. So here, for example, is one. This one basically says free to you. I don't know. And then it says available till the 26th. You've registered, so you might as well carry on. The industry leaders say that AI is the next thing coming. 6 out of 9 new AI users are using our thing. And your AI helper understands your needs and challenges and is going to be very helpful in making it happen. What you're looking at there is the 6 levers which Cialdini talks about. First of all, is it possible for you to give them something for free? Reciprocity. If you give something somebody, the monkey brain remembers you giving them a banana and they give you one back. Okay, so they do it automatically. It's not logical. So it's called reciprocity. Giving away stuff tends to get people to give you stuff back. If people think things are going to run out, or there's no access to the resource, or whatever it is, they get nervous. So scarcity seems to work really well. But also trying to get people to try and work to the next stage. Oh, you've done this, therefore, because we don't like not being internally consistent. So if you worked on somebody and somebody reminds you you've done it, then taking the next step makes a lot of sense. And then this one here, authority. If you think somebody who's really important and has got lots of power says it, you think, oh, okay, it's just the monkey stuff again. The big monkey has said it, so why not? And anyway, back to the monkey stuff. If everyone's eating the fruits, I might as well. And if people are doing stuff and they seem to like me, then it's a good idea to go along with what they say. So these are the 6 Cialdini metrics. And this pet helps you try and work out whether you have any assets you can bring to bear. Do you have something you can give them at low cost? Do you have something which will remind them? So I just say complete the pet, then see which 2 you should choose. Choose 2 of them, and then capture those top 2 and then put them in your message. So that's Compell6. It's Robert Cialdini's work. It's integrated into my persuasion universe map. And hopefully I've explained to you about human beings. And now you see yourself differently and you'll see everyone else differently. But you can get them to do anything you want, including pulling their hands. Nice talking to you. Up there, quick guide. Subscribe to the newsletter.